Right. So welcome back to the video lecture series on multi-rate signal processing. So we are at the last topic of the multi-rate signal processing concept. That is the first part of your fifth unit. So that is sampling rate conversion by a rational factor I by D. Right. So now what exactly this I by D? Why we need to go for sampling rate conversion with rational factor? It is not always possible to go with the integer fractions, integer values. So we need to go for the fractional values. So we have to go with I by D sampling rate. So why do we say it is I by D sampling rate? Why not it is D by I sampling rate? So we'll see, we'll discuss, and we'll give a conclusion that why it is I by D but not D by I. Right? So in order to perform this sampling rate conversion, initially the decimation and interpolation are only integer values, but here we are going with the rational factor I by D. So there is a procedure in order to implement this. So there are some steps that we have to follow in order to implement the I by D sampling rate. So what are the steps? The first step is you have to interpolate your sequence. The given sequence has to be interpolated first. So as we know, when we interpolate, obviously we have the images being formed. So in order to remove those images, we go with anti-imaging filter. So this is band limited to pi by I. And the third step, right? So again we have to go with the low pass filtering, that is anti-aliasing filtering. Anti-aliasing filter, and this pi by I is now band limited to pi by D. Right? And finally, so this pi by D band limited sequence obtained from your low pass filter is said to be decimated. So these are the four steps or the procedure that we follow in order to implement the sampling rate conversion by the rational factor I by D. Okay, so diagrammatically if I represent, so I need to first go for interpolation. So given the input signal, first interpolate it, then apply your low pass filter, which is an anti-imaging filter. Band limiting to pi by I. Then again apply another low pass filter, which is anti-aliasing filter. Now here it is band limited to pi by D, and then implement the process of decimation and you obtain your final output sequence Y of n. So this is how we generally perform the sampling rate conversion by factor I by D. Right? Now we see the spectrum for this, and then we go for the discussion about why it is I by D, why not D by I, and what are the implications that we observe. Right? Now, as I have shown you, I have the interpolator and I have two low pass filters. So those two low pass filters can be combined together, representing a single low pass filter, and again a decimator. Right? So here it is x of n, and here output is y of n. Now this low pass filter, which is a combination of both anti-imaging filter as well as anti-aliasing filter, and this will have a bandwidth of minimum of pi by I and pi by D. So the bandwidth of your low pass filter should be minimum of pi by I and pi by D. Okay. So this you can generalize the low pass filter in this way. Now let us say from the interpolator I have obtained an output V of L. The output from the interpolator is V of L, and this is some W of L and Y of N. Right? If I represent in terms of jet transform, this is X of jet, or in terms of the frequency spectrum e power j omega, This is V of e power j omega, W of e power j omega, and Y of e power j omega. Now my intention is to obtain what is Y of e power j omega. Right? So your X of e power j omega is input. V of e power j omega is the response from interpolator. Then W of e power j omega is response from the filter. And Y of e power j omega is your output. Right? Now let us try to derive the equation for Y of e power j omega. Now from the first part, your V of e power j omega can be given as, so as this is the interpolation process, in the previous lecture we have seen V of e power j omega equal to X of e power j omega I. We have already derived this expression, right? Now let us say, so this low pass filter has an impulse response H of L. Right? And H of e power j omega is the frequency response of the filter. Frequency response of filter. Try to understand. I'm talking about the filter. So the considerations are with respect to the low pass filter. H of L is its impulse response and H of e power j omega is the frequency response of the filter. Now, W of e power j omega, which is the output from the filter, I can express this W of e power j omega before as W of e power j omega equal to, so generally filter and we have the concept of convolution, right? So so convolution between your input sequence and X of the input for this is V of e power j omega and your filter function H of e power j omega, right? So we are speaking or we are discussing in the frequency domain. So multiplication of V of e power j omega, that is the input to the filter, and the filter function H of e power j omega. Now let me define the filter function H of e power j omega is equal to I. So from omega equal to 0 to omega c, low pass filter, and it is 0 otherwise. Right? So I am defining my filter function H of e power j omega is equal to I, right? From omega 0 to omega c, and it is 0 otherwise. So now what is this omega c? Omega c is equal to, as I have told you, it is minimum of pi by I comma pi by d. Okay. So the band limited values for the interpolator and decimator. So when you are using the anti-imaging and anti-aliasing filter, omega c is defined as minimum of pi by d and pi by I and pi by d. Right? Now using this, so your W of e power j omega equal to V of e power j omega into H of e power j omega. Now your H of e power j omega is equal to I, and your V of e power j omega is X of e power j omega I from 0 omega equal to 0 to omega c, and it is 0 otherwise. Isn't it? Now, so this W of e power j omega is fed as input to the decimator, right? So from the output of the filter, you are giving it to the decimator, right? Now the decimator, so when we are discussing about the decimation process and the spectrum analysis of the decimator, we have given the equation for decimator Y of e power j omega equal to 1 by d sigma k runs from 0 to d minus 1, w of e power j omega minus 2 pi k by d. Right? So this is the expression that we have given in that case for the decimation. But here, as we are strictly following the filtering process at the starting itself, and we are saying there is no aliasing effect, what we do is we confine our decimation result at k is equal to 0. We are not going to consider the entire sequence, rather we are confining our analysis to k is equal to 0. Why we are confining? It is again because we are using a filter, a low pass filter, which because of which the aliasing will be cancelled. So confining it to this result at k is equal to 0. So you have your y of e power j omega being written as 1 by d w of e to the power of j omega by d. Right? Now replacing your w 1 by d into what is your w? I into x of e to the power of j omega I by d. Because there it is e to the power of j omega I from w equal to 0 to omega c. And it is 0 otherwise. Right? So now your y of e power j omega is equal to I by d x of e power j omega I by d, and it is 0 from for omega equal to 0 to omega c, and it is otherwise. So this is the expression for your frequency spectrum when it is implemented using I by d sampling rate conversion or a rational factor. So you can see here you are obtaining the result as an I by d only. I by d e to the power of j omega I by d. So why it is I by d? Why not? Because you have implemented the interpolation process first and then the decimation process. Obviously you will get the result also as I by d only. So but why I have to implement the interpolation process first? Why not I can implement the decimation process and then the implementation process? So let me give you a straightforward example, so which will be impressive and interesting for you also. You can test it even at your home. You just see we are using your mobiles 24/7. So these mobiles are being used for capturing the images. So the image that you have captured, it could be either mobile or a digital camera, whatever it is. You zoom the image first. Right? Try to understand. You are first zooming the image. Save it, and the zoomed image you try to shrink it and observe the output. Right? So what you are doing, first the original image is set to be zoomed, it is saved, then the shrinking process or compression process is applied on that zoomed image and it is saved. After shrinking it is saved, or after compression it is saved. You observe the resultant image, keep it aside. On the other hand, you first shrink the image or compress your image first, save it, then you zoom it and then save it. Now you observe the output. So then compare the first image that you have saved doing the first process and this image which you have saved doing the second process. Compare these two. Definitely you will find or you will observe the first image to contain more data or more visible information compared to your second image. So that means first you have to enhance the image or you have to upsample the image and then downsample so that your data will be preserved. You will not find the loss in the data when you do the upsampling first and then the downsampling. That is interpolation first and then decimation. Rather, if you compress the image at the starting itself, when you are compressing, obviously you are losing the data, right? So when you compress and then expand, it is more blurred. So the clarity of the picture will be lost. So hence you cannot observe more details in the image when you first compress and then expand, or when you first downsample and then upsample. So hence we do follow the process of upsampling first, that is zooming or increasing the sampling rate first, and then decreasing the sampling rate. So that is interpolation, decimation, and then sampling rate conversion by rational factor. And why we have to go the process of, or do the process of I by D but not D by I. So hope you understood the concept of multi-rate signal processing. So how we perform the multi-rate signal processing, what are the fundamental conditions that we have in the multi-rate signal processing, interpolation, decimation, and sampling rate conversion. So we'll be discussing the finite word length effects in the next video lectures. This particular unit of multi-rate signal processing and finite word length effects will be very much helpful for the students who are planning for abroad or planning for higher education in the field or research in the field of signal processing. So you can see many applications in the society today. So specifically the digital applications that you see are completely implemented using the concept of multi-rate signal processing. As I've told you at the starting itself, the CD, the data in the CD that is played in the system, or the 24 frames that you record in the film theaters and that you play in the theater. Every example you consider. So when you record something from the satellite, and if it has to be displayed on the system screen, so again you require the sampling rate conversion. You record the EEG data, convert it into, or make it visible on the system. So again you require a sampling rate conversion. So wherever the field you go, whatever the technology you talk, without sampling rate conversions or multi-rate signal processing application, you cannot extract the data exactly, right? So thank you for the for listening the videos and trying to understand the concept. So definitely I'm sharing the notes with you. You can go through the notes in the Google Classroom, and you can download the notes. You can follow the textbook of either, as I told you, Nagurkani and Prakis and Ramesh Babu. So the 3 textbooks you can observe. So you can practice more number of problems even on these topics. In the notes also I have shared some of the problems and exercises. You can try to do the same exercises. So thank you once again for listening to the audio.